Thanks for tuning in. This is, as promised, the Panacast2 second video. We're going to do a lab review of Panacast as a huddle room solution beyond the personal desk. So video one was me, Randy Marcotte, Perfect Video Conferencing at my desk. We're now using the camera in an 8 to 12 foot space designed for 5 to 6 people. The layout, as you see on board during content share, is really about not only showing Panacast and what it can do, but we would want to encourage you to go to Infocom or ask us to see the Panacast 3 solution. They're upgraded, they're slightly better microphones. We're using some other infrastructure that I'll explain in just a moment. And then the other guy on the call is obviously Bryce Cole. We're keeping him slightly muted just so that we don't get a lot of echo and feedback. So he'll be driving some of the presentation. So Bryce, nice to see you. You can wave if you want. I say keep audio out. We won't get any feedback loop. We've got 2 cameras here. One is the laptop camera. We want to kind of point out the downsides of getting a little bit of glare on the whiteboard. And there's a window to my right. You'll see already in the Panacast image, it's correcting for a lot of that and framing the room a lot better. Because the microphone on the Panacast 3 is better than the Panacast 2, we've actually plugged in a Phoenix Spider, the MT503. We like it because it also has a dial pad on it, so you can actually make phone calls, register it to SIP, and use it as a phone in the room, but you can also then use it, obviously, via USB, like we are to this particular recording. So some of the advantages of the Panacast infrastructure, and we'll show that in just a moment. If you have any questions, certainly you can reach out to me or Bryce. The easiest way is support@perfectvc.com. But it is designed as a great huddle room solution. We reviewed the Meeting Owl as an alternative to the Panacast. We like the form factor of this, and then obviously you can pair this with something like the Phoenix or a Sennheiser, something with a dial, or Conftail, something with a dial pad so the users can make a phone call. If you're using any of the sort of Blue Jeans or like Zoom solutions, you actually might have a control unit that can make a phone call, so you might not need the dial pad, but there is some flexibility with using this kit for your conference rooms. And the great thing about this in particular is we want to make sure that we're adjusting the room for the experience, and so that means where does the camera pan. We like some things about this one in the auto adjustment. So it's as I'm moving around and my sound is going to the camera, you'll actually see, there you go, you'll see the camera actually shift based on behavior, and I'm going to demo that a little bit more. Bryce will come into frame and you'll see how it manages 2 people. The other great advantage is that if you enable it and buy the license, you can actually have Panacast capture the whiteboard. Now, we've typically used the Captivo solution. And Bryce, this is an opportunity for you to just kind of, as I talk, maybe show a little bit of the infrastructure. So in setting up for the meeting, Bryce went to captivo.live, and that's kind of what it looks like behind me. And he entered his name and a pairing code. And so that enables the camera to then be shown on his laptop, and he's showing laptop through the video conference. Lo and behold, you get to see what's up there. So I'm going to go up and change some of the things. You can see the progression there. But Panacast has a built-in whiteboard capturing tool. So maybe just show the screen on the button. Would be helpful, Bryce. So there's there you go, off to the left of that whiteboard, there's a kind of indication of that. That button is designed for security purposes. So when someone pairs to it, you have to push the button, like the one you'll see behind me in blue, to enable the whiteboard. And then maybe just pop over to the Phoenix website so they can see. I know I lifted the microphone. So here's one of the, that's the MT503. I've got the 505 on my desktop. The 503 is kind of the one that, so maybe Bryce, if you can pop over and find the 505 or the 502 so they can see the dial pad would be useful. There was one. There it is. There's your, there's the dial pad. There's the, either the 502 or the 505. It's got a similar form factor, look and feel, as it were. Great, so maybe pop back over to the live whiteboard and I'll show the color changes. The big advantage, and the camera will adjust now that I'm moving. So I'm deciding to change position in the room. And the nice thing about it is the Panacast, as I showed at the desktop, has 3 stitching zones. So depending on how the users behave in the room, you can actually see the cutoff. But as I move about the zones, you're going to end up by getting the Panacast adjusting for the behaviors in the room. And so the big advantage we think about the Captivo is that you get to change and modify your slides over time. Bryce, maybe go ahead and click the share options of on the, there you go. So you have the option of downloading, take a snapshot, emailing others to participate. So if they don't want to join the video call, they joined audio only, and they want to see just the whiteboard, here's an easy way of bringing that content in. But the real big thing for Panacast, we like, again, in addition to being able to capture the whiteboard, is it really gives you levels that you can customize, and it's a really big advantage over any of the other cameras in there. You can really fine tune the white balance, the iris, the kind of the way the room behaves, the way the stitching behaves. So, but the other great thing is that it is actually plug and play. So we have a lot of customers who just USB it in, plug it, play it, and it's good to go. So last on this demo is just to kind of show a little bit about how the camera behaves. Again, if you want to reach us, we're at support@perfectvc.com to open a ticket. Just to show that. So I'm now going to pop over to zone 1, and depending on how I behave in the room and the stitching sees me, it may adjust. It may not. More importantly, if I move out of frame and change my location, after a little bit of time, there it goes. It starts to adjust for what it sees. It'll do it over a couple of intervals as well. And then now if I'm over, I'm still in the peripheral of the camera, and it can see me, and it's going to adjust. So again, it's going to see that there was someone over there before. It's going to keep the frame and to continue to behave like this. So the last piece of this, Bryce, I'm going to go back to zone 1. I know you need to sort of sneaker net over here to pop into zone 3. And as Bryce does that, the camera should work to frame both of us appropriately, which is what you want in your huddle room. So now I'm alone, I'm off camera, the camera has panned out, Bryce will have a seat in the black chair, and then you need to give it some audio so it sees you.
Hello, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Right, and it did exactly what it's supposed to. It saw that there's 2 human beings in a room, panned out, framed wide, and now you see us all. So again, that's why it's designed for a huddle room. And the kind of the huddle experience. So we do get a little bit of washout on the video, so you'll see not as crisp an image, and that's mostly because of the shades being open behind us. So lastly, I'm just going to go and close the blinds. Bryce, go ahead and stay there. Which is another point we've made over a lot of these videos is lighting, position, distance, all of that matters, and don't make the camera struggle too much. So if you like these products, give us a call. We want to sell them to you. If you want to demo the products, the manufacturer's great about shipping try and buys, and we would love to accommodate with that with you. So again, thanks for tuning into these little blog posts. If you've got other products that you want us to demo, ship us one. We'll be glad to play along.